Classification solution setup. Before setting up a classifier, let's see what can be classified. First, we can classify documents into types. For instance, we can distinguish between invoices and passports and driver's licenses and so on. Then, if needed, we can classify document type variants. That's when you have one document type with some differences depending on, say, the state or company those documents came from. Driver's licenses from different states are a good example, or comparing older and newer passport versions. Here, natural language processing capabilities help to understand unstructured text and classify them by topic. Also, email bodies are classified via text classification. For example, one class is equal to one email topic or subject, as we see some different subjects or topics here. Then NLP can help extract data entities from the text. How does the classifier process pages? As we mentioned before, the classifier works page by page. When a class is assigned to a document type, we are referring to a document definition section inside the document definition, the document structure. When a class is assigned to a variant, a document section variant is used. So, from a business point of view, document types are defined by business processes and assigned to document sections, and variants indicate that within one document section or document type, different requirements exist for classification and data extraction. So, for instance, for BMW and VW, we may need different extraction rules and different ways to classify those document variants. Also remember that the classifier uses page position assignments, the first page or any page if needed, to separate the first page of a document from other pages. Think cover letter page or the first page, say, of a passport. Here are some recommendations about building a classification model. There must be at least 2 classes, with 3 to 100 documents for each class, though technically the system can learn from just one document. The number of images needed for classifier training for one class depends on its variations. If all the documents in the class look the same, then a handful of documents will be enough. Remember, you need to provide all possible examples of the class so the program can learn accordingly. And if there are some trash items in the document flow which need to be classified as unknown, then consider creating a trash class. There you collect samples of the trash and then assign the image to some new class name, maybe a better name than trash, and then use those images for training. All settings for classification models can be done on the project setup station, and we can turn to FlexiLayout Studio only if rules are required. Also, some new features to make configurations a little bit easier were added to the project setup station. So a simple explanation of quality metrics for business. If precision is 95%, then 5% of the documents will have the incorrect class. And if recall is 95%, then 5% of documents will have the class unknown. And the F measure is a rough averaging of precision and recall that explain classification quality. So here are some steps to set up classification. First, create document definition sections or variants. Then add documents for training in a classification training batch from folders or subfolders, and they should be named appropriately. Then assign a reference class manually, or assign the reference classes manually or according to subfolder names. And we've got a tool that helps ingest the subfolder names and assign those reference class names. Then specify the precision recall balance and add a classification profile. Divide the documents into training and testing subsets, either manually or automatically, and train the classifier, analyzing the results in the confusion matrix, and you can do some tuning and make sure items weren't placed in the wrong class folder. to begin with. Then export the classifier into FlexiLayout Studio if rules are required, and rules again are just headers essentially. And when the quality of the classifier is satisfactory, this is an important step. Retrain the classifier using all the documents. Don't have some set aside for training and some for set aside for testing. Have them all set for training. And then enable classification in the project or batch type properties. When you do that, select the train classifier model and test the classifier in a working batch. And you need to know that there are analysis tools available at the project setup station. Again, as we mentioned, the whole project can be created in one place. And we've got a panel for quickly assigning classes. We have the ability to set the reference class based on the subfolder name. And our benchmark tool can automatically divide all the images into training and test sets. And you can alter the percentage of documents. And we've got debugging tools. Another tool that is really kind of cool is when you're finding a problem document with the confusion matrix, you can click on it and search for similar images to see if there's problems that are following a pattern or if documents really were put in the wrong subfolder to begin with. Advanced statistics regarding classification results are available for each batch. And so for the confusion matrix screen, which we see here, the diagonal cells indicate correctly assigned classes. The left column indicates assignment to the unknown class, and other cells indicate false positives. So none here is the unknown class. You can display numbers according to pages or percent. And the matrix can be navigated, so you can double click here, see the image, apply some other tools to the image, and then click on the statistics button to get back to this screen. The statistics by class screen helps you see indicators for a particular class. And the confusing classes screen shows which class influenced quality the most of all. So if you correct errors for this class, you're going to see a quality improvement for your model that's pretty significant.